Mile 22 is a new action film directed by Peter Berg, and it is another collaboration between Mark Wahlberg and Peter Berg. They've done a few of these by now. I think this is like the fourth time that they've teamed up on a movie. They teamed up for Lone Survivor, they teamed up for Deepwater Horizon, they also teamed up for Patriots Day. I actually really liked or loved all three of those movies, so I was very excited to see this one. And this one also stars Laura Cohen. You might know her as Maggie from The Walking Dead. Stars Ronda Rousey. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Ronda Rousey is. If you don't know who Ronda Rousey is, I would suggest you look up a video about Holly Hunter and a fight. Pretty sure you'll get your answers there. John Malkovich also shows up in this movie, and it also stars Iko Uwais, or Iko Uwais, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, the star of the Raid movies, two of the greatest action movies of all time. So what is Mile 22 about? Well, Mile 22 is about Iko Uwais' character. He is a military cop of sorts who has some secrets about his government and about some very important, dangerous materials that Mark Wahlberg and his clandestine team are trying to get their hands on. They really, really want these materials because a lot of people could die if they don't get their hands on these materials, and Iko Uwais is the only guy who knows where they are. But he's not going to give them the information that they need until they safely escort him out of the country and into America. So Mark Wahlberg and his Black Ops team, or whatever the hell they're called, they basically assemble a team so that they can escort him from point A to point B, get him to an airfield so that they can fly him to America. Along the way, there are people inside this country that they're in that want to kill them. Why? Because Iko Uwais' character knows too much. And so basically, this is a 2-hour escort mission, for better or worse. Boy, I really have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to try to find something positive about this movie. I'm not going to make it a secret. I did not like this movie at all. I will say the performances in the movie aren't bad, I suppose. I mean, you would expect at minimum they'd just be okay. Marky Mark, he can act his way out of a paper bag. He's pretty good in most everything he's at. I do think Laura Cohen might have given the best performance in the movie, like just from a pure acting standpoint. I mean, she was decent in the movie. Ronda Rousey at least didn't irritate me. I thought that she's been awful in all the other movies she's been in. But in this movie, she was okay. There's also a twist that happens towards the end of the movie where I'm kind of like, okay, well, you know, that's a decent twist. Okay, that's not a bad twist, per se. The biggest thing I see with this movie is I see potential. I see the potential for great characters. I see the potential for great action. I can see glimpses of it throughout this movie. But as everybody will tell you, and as I've said before on this channel, there is a world of difference between potential and reality. And if we're talking potential versus reality, then I feel like the reality of Mile 22 beat the absolute shit out of its potential. Like, beat it into the ground and left it in an incomprehensible puddle of blood. Because when it comes to the potential of this movie, nothing is executed the way that it should. This is one of the worst directed films of 2018, which is surprising because I am a fan of Peter Berg. I have no idea what he was thinking when he took this gig and decided to direct it. I have no idea what him or the people who edited this movie were thinking. I almost feel like they had to be high on something, like maybe cocaine, maybe some ecstasy, or maybe they just invited a group of chimpanzees to jump into the editing bay and edit the movie with them. This movie is edited and shot to complete and total shit. Everything about this movie is just loud and incomprehensible and scatterbrained. There's just nothing that works in this movie, especially from an action standpoint. Hell, in an action movie, even if the rest of the movie is shit, you would expect at minimum the action scenes to be good, right? Wrong! The action scenes in this movie are absolute dog shit, just like the rest of the movie. The action scenes in this movie, they go back to that stupid old school style of shaky cam bullshit. Not only do they have shaky cam bullshit, they also have that stupid quick cut style that they use with action movies where they have to cut the action up into a million tiny pieces where you have to see the action from every conceivable angle. Oh my god, it just irritated the living shit out of me. I hate the way that they cut the action scenes in this movie. Every punch, every kick, every shot, every single moment of action in this movie is just sliced in half and divided up into a whole bunch of different pieces that make the action as a whole very irritating and very hard to look at. We complained long enough about this style of action being used in other films like Columbiana and Taken 2, Taken 3, and one of the Transporter movies. We've seen that style done to death, and I thought that we had moved past that, but for some reason, Berg just decided to shoot the action to shit in this movie, and it's just hard to really see or tell what's going on. And it's not just the action scenes that were affected by the bad editing, it's the regular scenes too, the dialogue scenes. For some strange reason, in this movie, they decide that when a person is talking or giving some kind of expository dialogue, because there's a lot of expository dialogue in this movie, for some reason, they decided that we need to cut that and show everybody's face every half second that somebody is talking. Not only that, the person who's talking, we need to see their face shot from like 5 or 6 different angles. Even the regular scenes where people are walking and talking or opening a door, it's just all shot to shit. All of it. Characters in this movie, they're nothing to speak of. Every character in this movie feels pointless, useless, or annoying. Mark Wahlberg is pretty much just a hyperactive, fast-talking douchebag in this movie. They do try to set his character up in the beginning where he's kind of like an autistic, brilliant guy. Kind of like Ben Affleck's character from The Accountant, where he's kind of obsessive and he's really smart. He has this tick where he snaps a rubber band against his wrist. Trust me, that rubber band shit got annoying, but not half as annoying as the character itself. The character itself, it just grates your nerves. Because he's just a dick. He's just a douche to everybody, even his own team, and I guess they put up with it because the script says they have to. But there's just no redeeming qualities. If you're gonna be an asshole, at least be a likable asshole. Mark Wahlberg's been a likable asshole before, but for some reason, there's just nothing redeemable here. There's nothing to make you care. There's nothing to make you feel invested in him as a character. He's just a dick and a douche, so I'm like, why am I rooting for this asshole? Any kind of character development or interesting characterization or arc for the other characters is set up and then quickly abandoned and thrown away because the movie doesn't give a shit about it. Ronda Rousey might as well not even be a character. She might as well be an extra in this movie. You've got an over-reliance on incessant and unnecessary exposition and monologues. By the end of the movie, I had just checked out because I didn't care anymore, and I'm sorry to say that Mile 22 is one of the worst films that I've seen this year. I was gonna go easy on them because of the talent involved, but a shit movie is a shit movie. That's why Mile 22 is gonna get my worst rating, Quest for Peace. I love you, Marky Mark, and I love you, Peter Berg, but I'm not going to go easy on you just because I like you guys. I got to call it like it is, and you guys made a shit movie this time around. Guys, please go see literally anything else this weekend besides Mile 22. It's a massive disappointment, or you can go see it, and maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll come back here and tell me how wrong I am. I'm game. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.